We don't play the social game. We are social. Power 98.5.
Hi, this is Dan Aykroyd. He's progressive. He's beautiful. He's thoughtful. He's intelligent. He's powerful. He's positive. He is Stephen Cuoco on Power 98.5 Satellite Radio.
Empowering listeners from the US to the UK. Live on air with Stephen Cuoco.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you're at in the world. You are listening to Power 98.5 Satellite Radio. All the best and the latest and the greatest in news, music, sports, entertainment, reality, television, and more. Whether you're listening to us on the iOS or Android app, Alexa, StreamItter, MyTuner, my favorite, Odyssey, Apple Music. We want you to be here direct, live. Whether you're listening to us on power985.com on a website or on the iOS or Android app, start at home first. But then again, if you don't feel like downloading the app because you have too many apps, I get it. I respect it. I know some people that have a lot of pages on their iPhones with a lot of apps. You can just, once again, either go to Power 98.5, whether it be website or if you're on Apple Music, you can load it up on there as well. 200 countries and counting. Very excited, loving the support of Apple Music and Odyssey. But like I said, you can do so much more on the website and on the app, including by clicking the icon on the bottom right-hand corner. Share us, any messages, love, if you want to submit music or have a story idea, either go ahead and email the team at contact@power985.com. We do have a studio line. We've got music artist Meg Smith with us today. You're listening, whether you're a family member or a friend or a colleague or a producer, or if you've ever worked with Meg at all and you would like to give a shout out to her, go ahead and click that instant message. Once again, whether you're on the website or on the app, go ahead and tap that and send that to us now. I'm like stumbling this morning. It's been quite interesting. This storm is supposed to be coming in. Meg was supposed to be on at 2 o'clock today. However, we're bringing her on at 2:30. We've got so much great information, a lot of things jam-packed. UFC last night. Sean O'Malley won. I'm not surprised. I left a voice message with his coach. I hope they give me a call back. And to put it out there, we all know how Sean O'Malley feels about managers, and I agree with him 1 trillion%. And I'm going to put it on record. I so much want to represent him, whether in public relations or otherwise. He is someone that's deserving to have a great team. He's building a solid career, and I would like to be part of that for him and with him, and to get prepared for this next level, especially after last night's win. And I'm looking forward to him coming here to Vegas. I believe it's going to be in December, and we'll keep everyone updated with that. We're going to be covering, I believe so, a lot more in the Actors and Athletes Studio with Stephen Cuoco and Jake Jensen. We should have a new episode coming up this week. We've got DJ Striz live Saturdays, 10 p.m. Eastern. Double check the schedule for whatever, it's worth of whatever time zone you're in. If you happen to not be specifically on the East Coast or West Coast, where everyone has, the understanding of when our shows air in there, in a time slot for them. So whether you're in the UK or another country, head on over to power985.com or go on the app, download the iOS or Android app, check the schedule there, and you will see when all of the shows, upcoming events. Also, DJ High Def, he's coming to Power 98.5. He's actually already with us. We've got live performances that are going to be happening upcoming very soon, if not this month, starting then in September. We've got live tracks that's going to be coming up with DJ High Def. Definitely reach out to me or my team, whether it be on Instagram, email, otherwise. We want to keep you in the loop of what's going on, and don't hesitate to subscribe. to Power 98.5. And it's very, very simple. Power985.com. You're going to get the best. No spam. You know, we'll give you the latest in the articles of what's happening in news, music, sports, everything that's happening that's with, you know, going on with Alicia Pazzoni. She covers a lot with mental health, coaching. We've got Let Me Tell You What Lady T, nutrition. You're not going to miss out on anything. And it's not going to be done in a way of an infomercial. It's real journalism, real content, real news. With that being said, speaking about real news, we've got Ms. Meg Smith. Good morning. Welcome to Power 98.5 Live on Air with Stephen Cuoco. And congratulations, you've got a big tour date coming up from August all the way into October. You're doing a lot of great things.
I am. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be talking to you today.
And thank you for your patience. And we all know how the digital world is going and where it can be at. But either one way or another, with due patience, we make it through.
We certainly do. That's very true. With the storm and everything, all the craziness.
You're getting a lot of traction with Emotional Punching Bag. I took great notice of this track. I am definitely interested to add it to the playlist. I'm excited for you. Tell us more about Emotional Punching Bag and where you're planning on going and where you are going in your music career.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. I'm so happy that you like the song. It was a really, really fun song to write. I came into the session that day having absolutely no idea what I wanted to talk about. So of course we just started gossiping, me and the other people in the studio. And I was just complaining about a friend I'd had who was like, I loved her so much, but she would constantly talk down to me. And you make a lot of excuses for the people in your life that you love. So, I would just, be like, oh, she just had a bad day. She's just a little cranky. She didn't mean to say it. But when someone talks down to you and snaps at you so much, at a certain point, you're like, okay, I can't take it anymore. I love you, but don't talk to me like that. You kind of need to start punching back, basically, or standing up for yourself. So it's funny because it was something that felt really heavy, like a really heavy concept, something I was really frustrated and upset about, but we ended up writing a song that feels really fun and very dancey. And it's definitely one of my favorite songs to perform live. We've at this point, now that the song is out, there's a little dance with the song because at the end of the chorus, it goes, now I'm punching back. And there's two little dings, when there's I've never watched wrestling or boxing, but and there's the ding of they're starting the round. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Does that make sense? We have a little ding sound effect, so everyone punches on the dings, and it's really fun. It's a really fun song to play live.
When we think about boundaries, and to be honest, I was just at the Maxim Magazine Awards. And it's so interesting when we think about timing and this conversation. As I'm processing from just a couple days ago from hosting the award show, I was speaking to one of the models earlier that evening before the red carpet, and she was there with another model, and something had happened, and I noticed a behavior change. And I said, are you okay? I said, a shift had happened. I said, is everything all right? And she paused. She took a breath. And then she stood in her power, and she became extremely strong and much more erect while she was standing. And she pulled back her shoulders and she said, no, I'm not. And then she turned to the model that she was there with. And she said, I don't appreciate you speaking to me like this. She goes, I've been putting up with you and your mess all weekend long.
Oh my gosh.
You have been speaking down to me. You've been treating me like crap. And I don't appreciate it. And then the other model got somewhat defensive and decided to push back. And then she was like, no, this is what's been happening. This is what's been going on. And it's going to stop. And so the other model walked off, and she started talking to me, and she's like, I'm so sorry. She started to cry a little bit. She's like, I've just had it. And she started to purge. And I said, there are a lot of people in this world that are extremely passive aggressive. And
Mm.
whether alcohol is involved or some type of emotional mental disruption or disconnect that is happening, I said to her, you cannot fix this. You are not here to change it. She clearly said, Meg, that the entire time of why she was there in the whole event, she was not able to enjoy it for herself. And I said, you've got to be careful with people, because if they can make it all about them and sabotage your happiness without even considering it, they'll continue to do it. Is that what you were going through?
Oh, for sure. I definitely felt like, it's a very typical sort of relationship that happens a lot, where you find yourself walking on eggshells and changing your behavior and, changing plans and doing all sorts of things to make that other person more comfortable. And there's obviously a line. Like, we always want to make our friends happy, make our friends comfortable, make them feel good. We all have bad days where we make mistakes, we snap at someone, those are all okay things. But there comes to be a point where you find yourself just totally making yourself a lot smaller when you're around them, just because you don't want any conflict. And I totally found myself doing that. And it honestly got to the point where, I was like, you know what, similar to the model you were just talking about, where I was like, I can't do this. I can't let you use me as an emotional punching bag. I'm not here for you to take your frustrations out on. I'm here to listen if you're frustrated or having a hard time, but you can't take it out on me. I'm not a punching bag. So it was definitely very therapeutic to write, especially because like I said, the topic is very heavy, but the song itself is like a pretty fun song. So it feels really good to get on stage and sing that and dance with people. It's a song that means a lot to me.
Are you in a place and position in your life, Meg, where you are finally making decisions for yourself that no matter who or what a person may be or how they may have been in your life, you're willing to remove that toxicity out?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think it's a balance. I think there's a fine line between just cutting people out of your life the second you feel hurt by them versus, if someone is like really showing a pattern of disrespect and not taking your feelings valid and seriously and needing to remove yourself. And I've had both situations. There's a time and place where someone hurts you, or maybe you develop a pattern in your relationship where you need to go to them and say, okay, this is not okay. And you need to make that decision on whether or not you're willing to like really work on it. Versus there's some people where you're like, there's this pattern and I just really can't take it anymore. I need to take a step back from the relationship. But it's hard. It's never comfortable. But I have found that like through those moments of conflict, you really find, who the best people in your life are. There are people you're going to have conflict with, and you sit down and you talk to them about it, and they're really receptive, and you work through it, and then you become so much closer, and you build so much of a stronger foundation with that person. Versus, there's some people where you try to have those conversations and they totally shut down, and you realize, okay, this is not a relationship that's going to like keep growing, so I need to take a step back and wish the best for you, but I'm not here for you to sort of punch down, I'm not here for you to take your feelings out on.
You expressed a while back, and this is what you had wrote, some people feel like platonic soulmates, so when a friendship ends, it's overwhelming. I feel like I had to write a song that expressed all the frustration and heartache I felt. Now that you're in a better, much more healthier, clear space, what would the next song be like? Whether we think about friendships or relationships, but not so much outside of yourself. When we think about you and a relationship you have with yourself, Meg, are we going to eventually hear more songs about how you're growing as a person, a professional, a music artist, a woman?
Totally, completely. I think when I started releasing new music about a year ago, I was, I think like 20, 21, 22 writing these songs, and a lot of my songwriting was very introspective, because when you're like a young woman, especially a young person living in New York, and you're trying to follow your dreams and you're working, I don't know if I'm allowed to curse on here, but a bad Okay, a shitty part-time job and you hate your life. And, like I'm a nanny. So, and I post a lot of videos about that on TikTok about how my days are spent taking care of like a 5-month-old baby. And like I've done, organizing jobs where I'm hired to go into some like rich person's beautiful brownstone and like organize their dressers. And I'm sitting there obviously grateful to have a job, but very frustrated that, I'm not fully living my dream yet. It's a really long road. So I feel like a lot of those songs I was writing were super introspective and a lot about that. And then when I went through a really big friendship breakup, I started writing so much about that and focusing on that other person. Like, kind of like you were saying, a lot of my songwriting was focused on them and focused on trying to understand what that meant, because I'd never been heartbroken like that. And I think I hadn't heard many songs that expressed the heartbreak I was feeling over a friend. So there's so many heartbreak songs about romantic relationships, of course. That is a very real heartbreak, but you grow really, really close with the friends in your life, especially when you're a young woman, and with your female friends, you experience so much together and you grow so much together and you feel like family. So it's really challenging. And now that I feel like I have processed a lot of what happened, I have started writing a little bit more introspectively again, focusing on myself and what my life looks like and what I want my life to look like and all of those things. Because being in your 20s is a very weird, confusing time where you're sort of stuck between still feeling a little adolescent and also feeling like an adult and not really knowing what to do with any of it, and not feeling like you have a ton of control or perspective, and just not knowing what's going on and what your life is going to look like in 5-10 years. So I have been writing a lot more about myself and just trying to understand like who I am and how I fit into the world, and how I want to fit into the world, if that makes sense.
How do you find balance? You were sharing that you're a nanny, you help organize. Many people are living life and have jobs and doing things to sustain themselves in order to, comfortably take care of yourself, to also build this career. Do you ever run into any sort of complexities at all, Meg, feeling like you're a nanny during this part of the day of your life, and then you're going in, thriving and succeeding, being a successful music artist and a writer? How do you keep the balance so you don't become so disconnected?
Oh yeah, it's a real challenge. Especially I think it's definitely changing now, and I'm excited to kind of be a part of that change. But I think there is a pressure online on social media to perform as though you have everything working out for you and everything's great. And I know so many musicians and artists in general who were pursuing our art and we're creating things that we're really excited about. And then we also need to like buy groceries, and we're living in New York and we have part-time jobs. We're waitressing, we're bartending, we're nannying, we're doing all of these different things. And I think there's a pressure to not like talk about that and to sort of act as though everything is great all the time and you get to pursue your art 100% of the time. But that's not really realistic these days. So many artists are hustling to try to make it happen for themselves. So I think things are changing now, where I see a lot more on TikTok, people, especially musicians, talking about, we're spending our days working side jobs in order to pursue our art. And it's weird because there's a lot of really exciting stuff happening in my music, and I feel so grateful. And then I wake up every morning and like I said, I take care of a baby and I'm changing diapers, and it's not glamorous, and it's not, it's a really fulfilling job, and I'm lucky in that sense. Taking care of children is you can see the change you're making and the positive impact, and that's really fulfilling. But it's, my dream is to be a full-time musician. So it's tricky, and I've been super lucky to have employers who are like music fans and understand my life and are very supportive. But it is hard where there are moments where you're tasked with a difficult decision of, do I take this opportunity or do I, go to work next week, and having to like choose these difficult battles of, trying to be a person, like I said, like buy groceries, have your apartment, like, normal life things, pay your bills and show up to work on time. And then also at the same time, it's like I'm literally Friday night, I had to bring all of my guitars and all of my gear and all of my merch and everything to my nannying job. I was carrying like 5 bags with me. And then I like rushed straight from when work ended, went right to the venue, did my makeup like on the bus before the show. Like it's very chaotic. And sometimes that's really fun. It's fun because you sort of feel like living a double life, like you're Hannah Montana, like nanny by day, pop star by night. And that's really fun. But it is also very chaotic. I wish, I want to be making music full time. And I think people are more, like I said, things are getting better and people are expressing that not all of us can just jump into being full-time musicians and we have part-time jobs. And I think the more we talk about that, the better it gets. So we're not portraying like everything is perfect and easy and smooth all the time.
Do you believe the music industry, for you guys as music artists, things are changing and you all are realizing a major contract with a top record label is not necessary? Do you feel, Meg, that because of TikTok, because the way you guys are owning your own publishing rights and doing things that are more independent and getting more involved into sync, that the industry is going to get to a point to where you guys don't have to worry about being the next Taylor Swift or Ariana Grande, that you can do it through your own platforms, through social media, through booking, events and things like this, that it's not going to feel so much like building a stressful career, that you can make this just as successful being independent, just as the way Taylor Swift does, having management and being with the label?
It's an interesting question because I think there are lots of opinions on all sides, and it's a very weird time to be in the music industry now that all music is like streamed for the most part. So it's weird because I think it's exciting and a lot of people are really happy that things are changing and music is becoming a lot easier to make, and those sort of barriers to entry have lessened a little bit. Things like TikTok, you can post a TikTok tomorrow, your song can go viral and you can get a fan base. That's the exciting aspect of it. But I think there's a misconception that all the barriers to entry have disappeared, if that makes sense. Yes, with things like TikTok have opened a lot of doors, but at the same time, you do still see that a lot of the people, definitely not everyone, but a lot of the people that have become really successful independently were able to do so because they had seed money, or they lived in a city where opportunities were really available to them, or they had a contact who could give them advice in the industry, because it's a very confusing industry. And while, like I said, the barriers to entry are lessening, it is still a very gatekeepy industry. And I think there's a lot of confusion, especially with streaming and how you make your money through music. It's not straightforward. There's not like one company that writes you a check and that's how you get paid as a musician. There's touring and there's merch and there's publishing and then there's streaming and mechanical royalties and all different types of things. So I think what's exciting is that being an independent musician is becoming a lot more accessible, in that you can record a hit song in a dorm room, and that is really exciting. But at the same time, music is still like a very expensive career, and I'm wary to say, or hesitant to say, that because of social media and because of the way music is being created on a laptop now, that anyone can become as big as a Taylor Swift or Ariana Grande. I think what is exciting is that making music independently has become so much more commonplace, but you do definitely see that there is sort of a limit, and the people who are able to create really great music independently are able to because they have the time and seed money to be able to, if that makes sense. So things are becoming easier in a lot of senses, but also a lot trickier, and that it's become a lot more competitive because it's so easy to create music. When TikTok was in its early days, it was a lot more easy to go viral. And now every musician is on the platform, so it's a lot trickier, if that makes sense. It's confusing. There are good things, there are bad things. I think what is exciting is that you are able to start growing your fan base without, like what you said, without like a major label contract. I am an independent artist, and it's been really exciting to see how social media can help grow your fan base. Seeing the same people come to your shows time and time again, you become friends with the people who consume your music. And I'm not sure if that's something that could have happened, 20 years ago without a label. But yeah, it's confusing. It's weird. I think everyone's figuring it out. I think major labels are trying to figure out what their lives look like, and independent artists are trying to figure out what their lives look like. It's a very weird, confusing, and exciting time.
Well, for what it's worth, I hope one day you own your own agency. I'm very confident, and I believe in you, Meg, that you will be able to not only continue to build an incredible empire for yourself in the music industry, but to be able to facilitate for other people as well.
Thank you. I hope so. I really do hope so.
Who would you like to give a shout out to?
Oh my gosh, what a great question. You know what? I would love to give a shout out to my mom because she called me yesterday when I was grocery shopping and I still haven't called her back. So Mom, if you're listening, I'm sorry. I'll call you when I get off the radio. I love you.
And anything that you would like to close with at all, Meg? Words of advice, inspiration, insight into what's coming up next for you? I mean, we have to recognize this, and I've got to add all great things, Meg Smith. Head on over to her TikTok, Instagram, Meg Smith LOL. You've got tours coming up.
Yes, I do. I'm playing a ton of shows on the East Coast. So if you live Philly, Boston, DC, New York, any of those places or near those places, definitely check it out. All the info is on my Instagram, Meg Smith LOL. I have a ton of new music coming out, which I'm so excited for. And I just want to thank you so much for having me. Thank you. This has been such a fun chat. You have really interesting and fun questions. So thanks again. And I hope you guys listen to my music. If you see me at one of my shows, come say hi. It's a good time. We have fun. We do a lot of dancing at my shows. So come on down.
And you were just at So Far Sounds in Brooklyn on the 18th, right?
Yeah, I was just there on Friday. It was so fun. A fan came and gave me like a handmade friendship bracelet, which is like the coolest thing that's ever happened to me. Slowly, like fans have been bringing me bracelets on tour. Mm-hmm. So if you come to a show, like I said, on the East Coast, I have a ton of shows coming up. Bring me a bracelet and we can talk about Taylor Swift, friendship bracelets, all kinds of things. I think I want to start collecting them, and we can all start sharing friendship bracelets on my shows. I think it'd be super fun.
Also kind of have whether it be a film or docu-series or even a photo. Like I can picture like Polaroid series from this. I would create something from that. Get photos. This is the PR in me. Get photos, get some testimonials while you're there, some like videos of the interaction with you. And you know what would be really great in this docu-series I see, because I've been doing PR for over 30 years, is I would like to see the fan express what their journey has been like and what they're doing and why they created that bracelet, whether it's meaning from the jewels or the gems that are part of it, what their life's been like, and capture that through photo and video, and then build some sort of mini docu-series, maybe have about a half hour or an hour, and then put that in film festivals. That's what I just foreseen for you.
That is such a cool idea. That's really, really cool. Thank you for that. That's awesome.
Don't miss that. Get every footage, get every piece, get every person to realize what's happening here and to share their story. This could be huge. That's what I just saw. This is why I love public relations, because when you give, I'm like Google. You give me the information, and once I get the information, I can tell you where to take it and where to put it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that.
Any other closing thoughts, and how do you feel?
I'm just so excited for all these shows I have coming up and all this music. Last thing I would say, which is totally unrelated to me, but first of all, I hope everyone on the West Coast is doing okay. I'm from LA, so, stay dry, stay safe. And also I would encourage people to donate maybe to the fires in Maui. There are a lot of resources out there to help some of those folks out there. So if you have any time or any little extra spare change, I would definitely encourage that, because it's been pretty heartbreaking to see what's been going on out there. So I highly encourage that.
I agree. Thank you again, Meg, for being with us today. You're more than welcome to come back anytime. Stay in touch, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of you. All things Meg Smith LOL, TikTok, Instagram, and potentially that film.
The docuseries.
The film.
It's going to happen.
And you're going to have your 2024 film festival debut. So you're going to be doing a little mini tour, and I just see it all going through my head right now, the photos and the interviews and fans showing up, and it's powerful. It's powerful.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. This has been so much fun.
You're welcome. You deserve it. Thank you, Meg.
Thank you.
Thank you to everyone who's joined us today live on air with Stephen Cuoco on Power 98.5 Satellite Radio. Once again, all great things Meg Smith, TikTok, Instagram, and more. Her handle is Meg Smith LOL. Also, head on over to her website, www.megsmithmusic.com. She just had she was at So Far Sounds over in Brooklyn on the 18th. She's got August 25th coming up, Union Pool, New York City. September 20th, Mercury Lounge. 21st, she's going to be in Boston at Cafe 939. DC on September 24th at DC 9 and more. Get your tickets, megsmithmusic.com. And I'm going to refresh your memory one more time. All great things Meg Smith, socials, Meg Smith LOL. Have a great day, everyone. Whether you just joined us or tuned in, thank you to Jeff. Thank you for the shout out. Just got the message. Do we have anything else, Jeff? We've got Sarah, we've got Jeff, we've got Will, we've got Annie. Thank you for the love and support. We got your messages today. Remember, Power 98.5 Satellite Radio. Download the iOS or Android app. Tune in on Alexa. We're available on Odyssey, Apple Music, and many more. However, get it live and direct on the app and on the website. You guys have a great, safe weekend. Definitely check out the schedule. We will be uploading and sharing this to all your favorite podcast platforms: iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Amazon Audible, Spotify. If you don't feel like waiting for when we re-air this episode again, definitely check that out. We will have that available today, and we will share that with Meg as well. And I always say, number one in radio. I was top 10. Okay? Top 10. We're going to continue to give you the best. And it's not all about the numbers. It's about the quality and the integrity of these interviews and the people and their stories who share them, just like Meg Smith. Yes. Thank you. Now, I covered it, but yeah, we're going to hit that next time. Yeah, we're going to close on out. Sean, you know I love you guys. Christina, my assistant, you guys are the best. I'm here because of my team as well. And also at the same time, no matter what industry you're in, you've got to build a support system. You know, you can't do everything yourself forever. I'm a strong believer in that. At one point in time in my life, I believed I needed to do everything on my own. Now, I appreciate having a team, and I'm going to continue to build my team. So yeah, I've got more great information. Thank you guys for the reminder, but I'm not gonna divulge and share that just yet. We may do that the next time I do a show, but yeah, I appreciate the reminder. But yeah, all good. All right, great. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Find us on your socials and let's connect.